I always thought the worst part of having a pool was the upkeep, scrubbing filters, fishing out leaves, shelling out for chlorine like it's liquid gold. But man, was I wrong. The real nightmare was my neighbor Linda and her pack of entitled buddies who treated my backyard like their personal resort. Picture this. I'm coming home after a long day, ready to kick back with a beer, and there's Linda, queen of the cul-de-sac, lounging in my pool like she's filming a reality show, her friends giggling, wine glasses clinking, leaving a trail of empty cans and chip crumbs like they own the place. I tried playing nice, then I got firm, but Linda just flashed that smug grin, called me selfish, and kept on splashing. So, I decided it was time to give her a swim she'd never forget, one that'd leave her hair a mess and her pride in tatters. I'm Jake, by the way, just a regular guy in a quiet Arizona suburb called Sunny Hills. After years busting my hump in construction, I finally bought this house, nothing fancy, just a solid place with a brick patio, a shady mesquite tree, and a pool that sparkles like a desert oasis. It was my family's little slice of heaven, where my kids, Mia and Ethan, could splash around, and my wife, Sarah, could read her novels in peace. I'd mow the lawn, skim the water, crack open a cold one, and just soak in the calm. That is, until Linda moved in next door. She wasn't just a neighbor, she was the neighbor, the kind folks whisper about at barbecues. Mid-50s, peroxide blonde hair, with dark roots peeking through, voice like a megaphone, always strutting around with a clipboard like she was running for mayor. She'd been on the HOA board years ago, got kicked off for being a bully, but still acted like she owned Sunny Hills. It started small, wet footprints by the pool, a stray towel that wasn't ours, the faint smell of drugstore perfume hanging in the air. Then one evening, I caught her through the kitchen blinds, floating in my pool in a leopard print swimsuit, sipping rose like she was at a Vegas day club. I marched out, heart pounding, and said, "Linda, this is private property, you gotta ask." She just laughed, this high-pitched cackle, and waved me off. "Oh, Jake, lighten up neighbors share, don't they?" "Not my pool." I shot back, but she rolled her eyes like I was some kid whining about a toy. After that, it got worse. She started bringing her posse 4 or 5 friends, sometimes a random boyfriend, waltzing through my side gate like it was a public park. They'd blast Journey on a cheap speaker, pop corks, leave behind soggy Doritos, and a blow-up unicorn raft with lipstick stains. My pool, the one I scrubbed, balanced, paid for, was their playground. What really lit a fire under me was the Instagram post. I'm scrolling one night, half asleep, and there's Linda posing in my pool like she's in a magazine, arms up, captioned, "Living large at Sunny Hills' finest amenity. HOA perks, good vibes." The comments were a punch to the gut. "Wow, jealous. Is that your pool, Linda?" "Slay." My blood boiled. She wasn't just trespassing, she was bragging, turning my hard-earned home into her flex. I tried reasoning again. "Linda, stay out, or I'm calling the HOA." She smirked. "Go ahead, Jake, they'll side with me, community spirit, you know?" That word selfish, she kept throwing it at me, like I was the bad guy for wanting my own damn property respected. Selfish, after I'd worked overtime for years to afford this place. Selfish, when I'd built that patio with my own hands. I thought about dragging the HOA into it, but those meetings are a circus, Linda's circus. She'd spin it, play the victim, make me the grumpy jerk hoarding his pool. The cops? They'd laugh off a neighbor swimming call. No, I needed something sharper, something that'd hit her where it hurt her vanity. See, Linda was obsessed with her image. Weekly hair dye, fake nails, makeup so thick it could stop a sandstorm. Looking foolish? That was her kryptonite. So, one night, staring at a jug of industrial bleach in my shed, the kind I use for patio stains, a light bulb went off. The label read, "Caution, may cause irritation." Perfect. Not dangerous, not permanent, just enough to make her next swim a disaster. I could almost hear her shrieking already. I spent a week planning, scrolling pool forums at midnight, learning how too much bleach could dry out hair, irritate skin, fade swimsuits, just the kind of petty chaos Linda deserved. I bought extra jugs at the hardware store, casual as you please, and stashed them behind the pool floaties. Linda had a pattern: big parties on Saturdays, smaller dips midweek. I picked a Saturday, set up my security cameras to catch every second, and tested the audio for good measure. I wasn't missing her meltdown. Friday night, under a full moon, I poured 3 jugs into the deep end, stirring the water with a pool net until it looked normal, sparkling, inviting. But it wasn't. It was a trap, and I was grinning like a kid who just rigged a prank. Saturday noon, I took the kids for ice cream, playing it cool, knowing my cameras were rolling. When we got back, I checked the footage, and there she was, Linda, strutting through the gate, sunglasses gleaming, tote bag swinging, her crew trailing like loyal subjects. They dove in, laughing, splashing, Linda floating on a pink raft with her wine tumbler. I leaned into the screen, heart racing. 5 minutes in, it started. One friend scratched her arm, frowning. Another squirmed, rubbing her shoulders. Then Linda tugged at her hair, her face twisting. My hair. What the hell's wrong with my hair? She screeched, loud enough to crack my speakers. Her blonde locks were turning into a frizzy, orange-streaked mess, like a bad wig from a costume shop. Her friends scrambled out, clawing at their skin, muttering about burning. One slipped on the deck, nearly face-planting. Linda staggered to the ladder, makeup smeared, hair sticking out like she'd been zapped. I laughed so hard I nearly fell out of my chair. The backyard was a crime scene. Spilled wine, crushed chips, that sad raft drifting in the corner. I saved the footage evidence, just in case. Sarah peeked over my shoulder, half horrified, half amused. You're evil, she said. Creative, I corrected, still chuckling. Later, I caught Linda storming past our house, wrapped in a robe, her hair like a tumbleweed. She glared at me. Your pool's a hazard, she snapped. I raised an eyebrow. Works fine for me. Her friends, trailing behind, wouldn't even look at me. For once, Linda had no comeback. The neighborhood buzzed. At the coffee shop, folks whispered, Did you see Linda's hair? Like a fried cactus. By the mailbox, someone muttered, Serves her right. Linda skipped her usual HOA patrols, hiding under scarves and hats like a fallen star dodging paparazzi. But I wasn't done. I sent the footage to a few trusted neighbors anonymously, of course with a simple subject line, Pool Party Crashers. By morning, it was everywhere. This is gold, one neighbor texted. You're a legend, another said. Linda couldn't fight back admitting she was in my pool, men admitting she trespassed. She was trapped. The HOA meeting was the grand finale. I showed up late, sipping terrible coffee, just to see Linda squirm. She was in the front row, scarf slipping, makeup caked on to hide red patches. When the board president, Tom, droned on about budgets, Linda stood up, voice shaking. There's a health hazard in this neighborhood, a pool with dangerous chemicals. I was hurt, my hair ruined. She touched her scarf dramatically. I stood, slow and calm. Funny, Linda, how do you know about my pool's chemicals? The room went quiet. I plugged in a USB, and the community center TV lit up with her trespassing, splashing, then shrieking as her hair fried. The crowd erupted gasps, laughs, someone muttering, got what she deserved. Tom shut her down. Linda, that's trespassing. You're fined and banned from community amenities for 6 months. Her face went red, her mouth flapping like a fish. For once, she was speechless. After that, Linda unraveled. She tried gossiping, claiming I'd poisoned her. Neighbors laughed it off, she'd burned her own bridges. She called the cops, but the officer watched my footage, chuckled, and told her to stop breaking in. She even tried one last sad party at her own neglected pool, green water, wobbly chairs. Nobody stayed. Meanwhile, my yard became the new hangout. Neighbors brought beers, asked if their kids could swim. Sunny Hills felt like a community again, not Linda's kingdom. Sitting by my pool that night, kids splashing, Sarah smiling, I realized this wasn't just about a prank. Linda thought she could take what wasn't hers because she always had HOA power. Neighbors fear my patience. But I drew a line, not with yelling or fists, but with a camera and a jug of bleach. I showed everyone bullies only win if you let them. Linda's still out there, probably plotting something petty, but she's not the queen anymore. She's just a neighbor with bad hair and no friends. So what's your take? Ever had a Linda in your life, pushing you until you snapped? Drop a comment, tell me your worst neighbor or HOA story, and let's talk about where you draw the line. Hit subscribe if you want more tales of backyard justice. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.